Yo, top of the morning, man. Welcome into the ChrisBeCappinn Show. Today is March the 12th. There are 9 games on the board. We are going to go through 6 of them. Let's go through 6. It's a couple that I really don't care too much about. Let's see real quick. I was going through jaXon this morning, trying to type the prompt in, and the one that came up was just really bad odds. So I'll share that with y'all, but I wanted to type in another one. That's what I was doing. So apologies for that. As far as yesterday, quick recap would just be the Washington Wizards team total under. We talked about it on the show yesterday. Ended up going up to 110.5, and it was an easy winner for us yesterday. I think they finished with 103 points, and honestly probably shouldn't even got that many against the Detroit Pistons. So just a nice solid 1-0 day yesterday. Only official play that I played, and we went up a half unit. It was a half unit play, and it was a winner yesterday. Other things that I talked about didn't do as well on the show yesterday, but official play was a winner. That was the Washington Wizards team total under 110.5. So I need to keep stacking the wins though. Need to keep stacking the wins for sure. Let's see. And we're gonna get you up out the club, man. This is, I don't know why you you know what? I'm not gonna even give you too much energy today. We'll just get you about the club, man. That's all. We'll just get you about the club. Good morning, Prolific. What's up, bro? Has been relaxing. My nerves for good long times feels good. Gonna wait for some meaningful basketball. Let me talk you off. I think some of this basketball is meaningful, probably Prolific. We'll see though. What up, JLB? Says let's keep cooking. Coming off a 5-0 sweep. Love to hear that. What up, Justin? Appreciate you for tapping in as always. Good morning, Fear Elite. And gang banging over breakfast, man. Like, bro, come in here for some winners, man. Come in here with that negative energy. Go walk your dog or something, man. Like, we got him up out of here though. What up, Brian? Appreciate you for tapping in as well. Good morning, Tariq. Says I had the Washington team total under and the Bucks team total over. Live bet the Bucks. Well, you know what happened. Yeah, Tyrese Halliburton happened last night, man. Tyrese Halliburton happened. Let's jump into it because it's a big slate today. Lot that I want to get into. So let's do just that. We'll start off as we always do with jaXon, your AI sports betting handicapping buddy / partner / tool / whatever you want to call it. So first prompt I asked jaXon. There's a link in the description as always. 50% off promo code for whatever tier it is you want to sign up for. If you want to check out jaXon. You can use jaXon for prompt size, totals, NBA, NFL, MLB, you name it, right? So save yourself tons of time and research. The first prompt that I asked jaXon today was, what is the best prop bet? Because jaXon went 1-0 yesterday, gave out Nicholas Claxton up with over 7.5 points, and that was a winner. I think he finished with 9 yesterday. So I figured we run it back. And the prompt was, what is the best NBA player prop bet for last 10 games? Based on last 10 game hit rate. And jaXon tells me it likes Donte DiVincenzo up and over his 2.5 three-point makes. Problem with that is the odds. They're minus 159, and that's at Pinnacle. So I can imagine if it's that bad at Pinnacle, maybe you can get a better number somewhere else. But I didn't want to give people a minus 159 on the show, which is why I wanted to change the prompt. It says Denver struggles to defend against players in his position for this prop. He's cashed in 100% of his last 10 games, averaging 4.5 3-point makes. So maybe you could just take the 4. Maybe take the over 3.5 threes instead of the 2.5 threes. And it says while he has only played Denver once this season and hit 2 3-pointers, his performance against them last season was strong with 100% hit rate, averaging 3.5 3-point makes in the 2 matchups. So Donte DiVincenzo up and over his 2.5 made threes. I want to see where I can find see if I can find better odds real quick. So you can get a minus 148 on FanDuel. It might be a nice little parlay piece. I don't really like playing props past like a minus 140. That's like a cutoff for me. Minus 140, minus 145. Minus 148, I probably wouldn't do either. But yeah, 2.5 is available on FanDuel if you're interested. As far as the second prompt I asked Jaxon was, just for better odds, I asked Jaxon, what is the best ATS bet in the NBA today based on advanced stats in the last 10 games? And Jaxon likes Miami, minus the 3. And it's crazy to think, but we're going to talk about that game. I don't know if I want to lay 3, but I kind of like the money line there as well. It says the Heat are 50, well, has sharp betting trends, which I'll read them. The Heat, 51% sharp win percentage against the spread, with the highest, which is the highest amongst today's game. This indicates the sharp bettors are slightly favoring the Miami Heat to cover. They are 7th in the NBA in points allowed, while the Clippers rank 4th. Both teams are defensively strong, but Miami's ability to control the pace at home gives them the edge. Clippers are 12-12 against the spread when facing spreads of 3+ points or more this season, showing inconsistency in covering these smaller spreads. Additionally, the Clippers are coming off a loss to the Pelicans without Norm Powell, who averages 24 points per game. This absence significantly impacts their offensive output. Then you got some trends at home for the Heat, 19-15-1 against the spread when scoring above their average points per game this season. 17-11-2 against the spread when they're allowing fewer points than their opponent average this season, which aligns with their defensive strengths. And Miami is on a 4-game losing streak. This matchup against the Clippers team missing players presents a strong opportunity for the Heat to bounce back. The Clippers' defensive lapses allowing the second highest field goal percentage in the NBA could be exploited by Miami's disciplined offense. So Jaxon likes Miami minus the 3 today, and I don't think I could disagree with it, man. I do not think I could disagree with it. We're going to talk about that game. Let's jump right into it. First one we got up is the Oklahoma City Thunder and the Boston Celtics, though. Game will be played in Boston, of course, and this line opened at 4.5 yesterday, and it's been bet down to 3.5. When I woke up this morning, it was down to 3.5. The totals come all the way down from 233.5 all the way down to 227.5. Looks like it's going back up now to 228.5. And this is a game, in my opinion, you do want to wait. I hate that I have to say that so frequently, but I do feel like you have to wait because of the injury report. So Jalen Williams on the OKC side has been ruled out already. Horford's off the report. Jaylen Brown is probable. Jason Tatum is questionable. And Porzingis is questionable. So this line's going to move one way or another. I kind of think that even though OKC is a really good team, missing J-Dub is going to be big. He is their second leading scorer. But also, like if Porzingis and Jason Tatum don't play, which I'm thinking that they are going to play, right? This is a very meaningful game. We'll see if Porzingis plays. I saw he sent out the tweet a couple days ago about like having a real illness. And if he comes back, he could be a little rusty. So initially I did lean OKC plus the points. They've only been a dog this season. All 3 times have been on the road. They are, I think 2-1 straight up, 2-1 against the spread as a dog this season. The only loss came in Cleveland, but they won their other 2 matchups this season. Boston could potentially have this game circled though, because they did, come out really, really well in that game that they played OKC earlier this season. I think they won the first quarter and first half. Ended up getting smoked. They only scored like 8 points in the fourth quarter. If people remember back, it was 105-92. And OKC was laying a point in that game, and it did stay under the total of 225. OKC is actually matched up with Boston really well. Also, they've won 3 of the last 4. They've covered 8 of the last 10 against Boston overall, and the totals are actually 7-3 to the over. So when these 2 teams get together for whatever reason, there hasn't been a lot of defense played, and the games have, snuck up and over the total. As far as like the situational stuff, this is OKC coming off 2 really hard fought games against the Denver Nuggets at home. It's 3rd game in 4 nights, 4th game in 6 nights. And then for Boston, they've been at home kind of chilling, playing against some real cupcakes. So strength of schedule wise, OKC has played the far more difficult schedule. I think Boston's strength of schedule is bottom 5 over the last 5 games. So take all of that into your handicap. OKC is also 11-1 straight up off a loss this season. They don't lose frequently. We know that. And like I said, they've been a dog this season 3 times, and they won 2. Lost to Cleveland, but they did beat Denver. in Denver to start the season, and they beat Miami on the second leg of a back-to-back. They were laying 1 point. They were 1 point dog in that game. So I'm probably not going to bet this until I know everything. But if everybody gets ruled in, I kind of like Boston early again. We know Boston typically plays their best basketball in the first half at home. They have won, 5 in a row in 8 of their last 10. No real look ahead. They got the Miami Heat, but not until Friday. OKC is off until Saturday. They go to Detroit. So it's a skip for me right now. But I guess if I had to play it and I knew everybody was going to play, I'll probably take Boston first half. That would be my look in this game. First half, you probably could get a -2. I think that would be it. Even though OKC, they typically start slow. Just to counter my point, OKC starts slow. When they're dog, they don't typically start as slow. When they're favored at home, it's always third quarter for them. But I think that they could start this game off a lot better. But I still lean Boston early just because they got the revenge. Lower Sports says Tatum over his rebounds and assists, 15.5. Blunt says Dort had 9 threes. I can see my boy Dante going crazy today. Yeah, I could see it as well, Blunt. -148, not a bad parlay piece. I don't think I could play it straight though. Maybe add it with like the Grizzlies money line. I don't think Utah even wants to win the game. So something like that. J Man says JB under 24.5 points. So Jaylen Brown under. Nothing crazy, but home favorites coming off a win, but not cover, facing a non-conference opponent. 15-8 to the over. GLB says, okay. I think that's about 66%. Not too crazy, but not too bad though. Not too bad at all. Jamel says top of the morning, Chris. If KP doesn't play, I think I have to go with OKC. Yeah, they're gonna need him. They're gonna need him. And Al Horford and Luke Cornett will have their work cut out for sure. And I'm with you right here, Tariq. This seems like the live betting opportunity type game. At least in my opinion, it's too early to bet it right now, but it makes sense that the money's coming in on OKC. I don't know. I feel like OKC is gonna miss Jalen Williams as well. We'll see. I don't want to stay on this game too long because I don't have a pick. The next one is the Charlotte Hornets and Atlanta Hawks. A game we played in Atlanta. This total has gotten steamed up from 227.5 at open up to 234 now, and it was continuing to go up. It was at 233 this morning, up to 234. The spread hasn't moved a lot. Open 8, looked like it opened 8, up to 8.5. And we got Karis LeVert on the injury report. Let me just double check the injury report. I know Karis LeVert is on there for Atlanta. Trae Young is questionable as well. Trae Young actually missed that game too. He missed that last game. So we'll see if he plays. It's a quad injury for Trae. And then Nurkic is on the injury report for Charlotte as well. No Josh Okogie, of course. So I'm looking into the game, and Atlanta has won both this season. Charlotte has actually covered both though. And both games were played before December, so you could throw them out if you want to. But I like Charlotte in this spot, man. I really do. I like Charlotte to cover this game. I haven't bet it yet. With Charlotte games, I like to wait until the last minute just to make sure, no crazy stuff is happening, man. The injury report can be crazy, and I don't even see LaMelo on there, but sometimes they just downgrade my man to questionable in the middle of the day, and he end up being out. So if he plays, I do like Charlotte plus the points, and especially if Nurkic is rolled in. And I'll tell you guys why. First of all, for whatever reason, Charlotte always matches up well with Atlanta. If you've been watching this season, the series between the two over the last couple of years, Charlotte has covered 8 of the last 10 against Atlanta. You don't really want to be landing a lot of points with Atlanta. Charlotte is only 2-8 against the spread, but they have won and covered back-to-back games. And they've won back-to-back games. They've actually covered 3 in a row versus Cleveland, Brooklyn, and Miami. 3 straight unders for Charlotte. So defensively, they've been playing a little bit better. In Atlanta, while they have won 3 straight games, and this is their 5th straight home game, and they're 7-3 to the over in their last 10 games, you look at this Charlotte team, they just play better on the road and as a dog and when they're getting points, right? 15-11-1 against the spread when they're a road dog. It's about 57%. Atlanta is 5-11 against the spread as a home favorite this season, 31%. So burning money, as always, as a favorite. So immediately I'm looking to back Charlotte, and then I'll start looking into the matchup. I don't think, if you've been hearing me talk about Atlanta, I've been saying that Atlanta's been dominating the points in the paint. I don't think it's going to be that easy in this spot. Charlotte is a team that, like, they protect the paint a lot better than the 3 wins that Atlanta got. Atlanta just beat, who did they beat at home? They beat the the Indiana Pacers twice and scored I think it was like 84 points or something like that in the paint in one of those games. And they did the same thing to the Pacers in that previous game before that, in their most recent game against Philly. All of those teams give up the most points in the paint. I don't think Atlanta's going to be able to find that much success in the paint in this game. The only thing that worries me just a tad bit is that Charlotte does turn the ball over a lot. Atlanta's been forcing a lot of turnovers. That scares me a little bit. But yeah, Hawks is home favorites. I really want to go over real quick. I want to show this to everyone, and I don't think I've used Moneyballer on the site in quite a while. So I want to go over to Moneyballer real quick and just kind of show you guys what I was looking at. There is a link in the description if people are interested in checking out Moneyballer as well. So we look at this. So we got the Hornets. You can see in-season revenge. It's his fourth game in 6 nights. You don't like that too much. Short travel, though, coming off, the game in Miami where they just won. And then we got some baller systems that say fade a team off a close win by a small margin. That's actually active on fading the Hornets here. But I think the Hornets can keep this one within the margin. So if we go down and it's only one thing I really want to show you all, just so I can keep it moving and get to the next game. But if we look at the team totals, right, for the opponents when the Hawks are a home favorite this season, 13-3 to the over. The Hawks play no defense as a home favorite. You can see in the first half, they're 10-5-1. So I do agree with the total going up. 13-3 to the over, though, is pretty impressive. I actually had in my notes that it was 14-6 to the over, including a Philly team last game that didn't have PG, Maxey, and Embiid. And we know Atlanta wants to play fast. They're fourth in pace this season, first in pace at home, which should lead to extra possessions. So I think Charlotte can keep this number close. I also looked at Charlotte when they were coming off a win as a dog, because they did beat Miami outright as a dog. And they are 8-4 against the spread, 8-4-1 against the spread, coming off a win as a dog. So they don't let down in these spots. Typically some teams can let down, don't play as well in their next game. And they've covered 3 in a row in this spot. So I do like Charlotte plus the points here. Charlotte plus 8.5 would be my play if I'm playing this game. Have not bet it yet. What up, TC Bets? Appreciate you for tapping in. So let's cash. Drop a dime since Hornets going to win a game at some point, right? They just won, Dimes. They just beat Miami. And they've won, a couple games in a row, right? I think they beat Brooklyn on Saturday. Brooklyn was laying points. We should never be taking Brooklyn when they're laying points. But, yeah, they just beat Brooklyn. They've won back-to-back games, I want to say. So, yeah, they definitely they've already won a couple games. And I think they can keep this one within the margin. I'm not laying points with the Atlanta Hawks as a favorite. Back-to-back wins for Brooklyn, for Charlotte, 3 straight covers. Brian says Charlotte's plus 8.5. Don't like Atlanta home laying points. They've been burning money for quite a while now. What's up, Adam? Says, morning, bro. This is a tough one. A lot of cappers like Charlotte, but I'm soaring with the Hawks. Okay. So opposite side there. What up, AOD? Appreciate you for tapping in. And let's keep it moving to the next game, which is that Clippers and Heat game. So this line has actually come back down to 3 now. Actually come back down to 2.5. It's actually moving as I speak. So this line is not 3.5, it's 2.5, which is a major difference, the whole point. And this is one I would probably, I don't know if I wait, but I would probably have played it last night if I really wanted to get in on this one. So I'm looking at the matchup, right? I'm thinking that first thing that jumps out to me is we'll start with the injury report. Alex Burke is questionable. Terry Rozier is questionable. I think Miami will have everyone else. Let me just double check. So, yeah, Miami will have everyone else. No Jovic, of course. The Clippers, I don't think that they've ruled Kawhi Leonard out yet. But I'm not expecting Kawhi to play on the second leg of a back-to-back. He hasn't played any second leg of back-to-back games so far this season. So unless somebody saw something from Ty Lue that said that he may potentially play, which I didn't see, I think Kawhi is ruled out. Ben Simmons probably won't play. He has not played in quite a while. And then Norm Powell is also still out. So I don't like the Heat. I do like the spot, though. Clippers have won 3 straight versus Miami. So you can say they got triple revenge here. They've won 7 of the last 10. This season when they played earlier on January the 13th, the Clippers in LA, Clippers actually beat them 109-98 as an 8.5-point home favorite. So they didn't cover the spread, but they did cover the spread as 8.5-point favorites, covered the spread by 0.5 point. The game did stay under the 216, and the totals are actually 4-0 to the under last 4. And that's what I'm thinking in this game as well. I'm thinking, I know it's a super low total. It opened actually at 212.5, and it got bet down immediately to 209.5, which is a little too low for my blood. But if you watched the show on 2 days ago, I talked about Miami and Charlotte going under, because a lot of this is Miami not being able to score the basketball. Like, their offense has really struggled. I'm going to talk about that in just a second. So we get into the situational spot of why I like Miami. And a lot of it is the Clippers, second leg of back-to-back. I know that they lost last night. Probably want to, like, not go 0-2 in back-to-back nights. But I think you had to beat the Pelicans. Like, Miami is a tougher team, in my opinion. I know Miami has been struggling recently. This is also 6 game and 9 nights for the Clippers. Clippers already not great on the road, 11-21-1 against the spread on the road this season. You got a Miami team, like I said, not great. Only 3-7 straight up, 0-4 against the spread in their last 4 games. Their offense hasn't scored more than 110 points in their last 5 games. Fourth straight home game for them, so no travel. And they do got the Boston Celtics up on Friday. So I'm looking at the Clippers first on the second leg of back-to-back games, only 6-6 straight up, 5-7 against the spread when they're playing unrested. But more so than that, if you use cleaning the glass, you can see their offensive and defensive metrics on the second leg of back-to-back games. The Clippers are the 27th rated offense on the second leg of back-to-back games, but they're a top 5 defensive rated team. So that immediately tells me under. But if you factor in that they're playing against a top 10 defense unrested, they have an offensive rating of 102 and a defensive rating that's actually second best in the NBA. So that also tells me under. We know both of these teams going to play pretty slow, but 209.5 feels a little too low for me. So that's why I stayed off the total. I do think that Miami should be able to find some success here. And a large part of that, like why the Clippers are, that bad on the second leg, like why their offense struggles so much, in my opinion, is because they don't play second leg of back-to-back games with Kawhi. Now you're without Norman Powell and Kawhi. And the starters played a bunch of minutes last night, like James Harden, Kawhi Leonard, Zubac. They were all out there, trying to win that game against the Pelicans. Ended up losing because they couldn't get a stop from the three-point line. I think the Pelicans shot like 55% from the three-point line on the night. So I don't like the Clippers offense. Definitely don't like their defense right now. They are 9-3 to the under playing unrested, 3-5 straight up, and against the spread unrested as an unrested dog as well. And they stayed under their team total in 8 of the 10 games. So I think because Miami's offense struggles, but their defense is really good, I think that they can limit this Clippers offense tonight. And I would be betting Miami probably just on the money line, honestly. I'll see where the spread goes throughout the day. But that's the only way that I would be looking to play this one is a look towards Miami. And I don't say that too often. If you've watched the show, you know that I'm not a big Miami Heat backer at all. Miami is second worst offensive rated team, but number 1 in defensive rating last 5 games. And the Clippers defense is 18th last 5 games. So yeah, I think Miami's the right side. Did not bet the game though. It did. It absolutely did, Adam. It opened Miami +1, and now it's shifted to Miami -2.5. And I think the books knew. I think most people knew that Kawhi wasn't going to play. And then they just watched the minutes last night, right? I still got it pulled up because I had it open last night. Real quick, if you look at the Clippers minutes from their starters, they played very heavy minutes last night. James Harden 40 minutes, Zubac 38 minutes. Kawhi Leonard, 36 minutes. Chris Dunn, 31 minutes. Even the bench, like Derrick Jones Jr. played 26 minutes. So yeah, I think it's a Miami Heat spot, and I don't say that too often. Definitely they needed it yesterday for sure. Marquis says, I'm gonna take Heat first half specifically. Brian says Heat -2.5. Don't like the Clippers on back-to-back. Last night, you wanted to take the Pelicans too. Too bad you didn't get there. Yeah, I think it's a dog day as well. I think it's a dog day. We're gonna get into a couple of those other dogs. No way I'm trusting Miami enough to bet them, but I do lean Miami. A good call on Wizards team total under. Yeah, I did bet it. Sent it out. Justin says Heat money line will be on the second leg for me today, but not sure. Not sure second leg, but it will be in college basketball. Okay. Brian says, "What up, Chris? I should have bet this one last night, but took the Heat -3. Maybe a good spot for Bojan Bogdanovic, points, rebounds, and assists." What up, Swish? Says good morning, everyone. What up, Chris? By the way, the Knicks play the Clippers. Knicks play the Clippers. I know they aren't our Lakers in 14 days. I hope you and Ski buy some Clipper gear just to troll Cal on the show. I can't buy Clipper gear, not as a Laker fan, but maybe I'll make a t-shirt or something. What up, King Prediction? Says he cashed with the Wizards team total under yesterday. Love to hear that. It's just like the over here. I lean under. I know it's a low total, but I still lean under, man. The Heat, like I said, offensively, one of the worst offenses in the NBA, and I don't expect the Clippers offense to score either. And both of these teams are bottom 5 in pace last 5 games. They're playing so slow, man. Like, matter of fact, let's look at it real quick. So Clippers are 27th in pace. The Heat are 29th in pace, but at home this season, the Heat are 30th in pace. So they play super slow at home. Yeah. Next one up, just real quick on the Utah and Memphis game. This line open, best of the line is gone. It opened 14.5. It's down to 12.5. Money is coming in on on Utah, and it makes sense, right? Memphis just haven't been covering. They're 1-8 against the spread, 1-8-1 against the spread in their last 10 games. So how could you lay, 2 touchdowns with them? Santi Aldama is out. Zach Edey is questionable. Vince Williams is off the injury report. Luke Kennard is off the injury report as well for Memphis. On the Utah side of things, Jordan Clarkson, Laurie Marketing, Keontae George. Well, Clarkson, Marketing are questionable. Keontae George is doubtful. And all of that a blender in itself is enough for me to skip over this game. Like I guess I'll be taking the points with the Jazz. This is the last of a 5-game road trip for them. Sometimes teams can kind of run out of gas in that last game, but I'm not laying points with Memphis right now. Utah has covered 7 of their last 10 games. I think they can keep this one within the margin. The problem that the thing that scared me off of wanting to take the Jazz, and I still lean their way, is when I looked at them when they were a double-digit dog, because a lot of the games that they've been covering recently, they've been like single-digit dogs, outside of the Boston one, of course, and they did just come off a good cover against Boston. But when they're a double-digit dog, they're 7-13 against the spread, and they've been absolutely getting rocked in this spot. They covered the 15.5 that they were getting against Boston, but the 5 games before that, 6 games before that, they're 0-6 straight up, 0-6 against the spread. One of these games did come against the Grizzlies. They lost 103 to 125. So, and that game was in Memphis as well. So I know Memphis hasn't looked great. That trend kind of just scared me a little bit too much. Memphis also has Cleveland coming into town. So not a game that I dug too deeply into. I would still be taking the points with Memphis, but with Utah, but I would also want to know who's going to play and make my decision after I figure out who's going to play. So just real quick on that game. It's really Utah might be the most difficult team to bet before 6 o'clock Eastern Standard Time when you may know who's going to play. So let's see. Adam says I'm on Utah money line. If we get the starters in, I would take the points as well. Brian says Utah plus 12. Memphis in there. Turnovers is a recipe not to cover. So I thought about that as well. The stylistically though, like I know Memphis has been terrible. Don't get it twisted. Like Memphis is terrible, but the Utah Jazz transition defense is one of the worst in the NBA. And what does Memphis want to do? Run. So they could score. And I agree with the total going up. It opened 239. It's all the way up to 247 on some books. 246 is consensus, but it's up to 247. Memphis should be able to score in this spot. I know that their offense hasn't looked great. They should be able to score. I'm not sure if they're going to dominate the boards, but even without Jared Jackson Jr. in their last handful of games, Memphis has still been a very good rebounding team. Their offense, they just can't make a lot of threes right now for whatever reason. So I'm not trying to say that I would bet Memphis in this spot because I want nothing to do with them. But what I am saying is that I could see a case for people who are back in Memphis. I'm not doing it. But yeah, Memphis is really good rebounding basketball, even without Jared Jackson Jr. And we know he's not going to play. They're still the number one offensive rebounding team on the last 5 games, and they're still giving up the second fewest rebounds to their opponents last 5 games as well. So Justin says he played the over, and couldn't talk you off. You got a good number, Justin. 242.5. It's definitely up 8 points already. So that's that one. Let's get to the next one. We got the Timberwolves and the Nuggets. I am interested in betting this game. Haven't put it in yet, but yeah, I like this one a lot. Just going through it. So we'll start with the injury report. On the Minnesota side of things, it looks like Rudy Gobert is the only person on the injury report. He's listed as questionable. Aaron Gordon on the Denver side of things is listed as doubtful in this game. He did miss that last game against OKC after going out in the first game. Jamal Murray and Jokic on the injury report, but both of those guys are listed as probable, and Estrada remains out. So we look at the head-to-head matchup. Minnesota has won 4 straight versus Denver, including both matchups earlier this season. So you could say Denver has the triple revenge in this spot, the double revenge in this spot. Denver was a 3.5-point road dog in the first game in November, and they lost that one. And then the second game was in Minnesota. Minnesota was shorthanded. I think they were missing. I can't remember who they were missing. It might have been Rudy Gobert, or it was maybe Julius Randle. Somebody was missing that game. I remember watching it. It was on a Saturday. They were 3.5-point home dogs, Minnesota was, and they smoked the Denver Nuggets, beat them 133-104. So you could say, like Denver should get up for this game. Both of them did go up and over the total. One of the totals was 229. The other one was 230. This total, of course, opened higher, 235.5. Hasn't really moved a lot at all. Actually coming down a little bit. I see 234. I see 236, 235, 235.5. So total kind of all over the place. Shop around, get the best number, whatever it is that you do like. But I'm looking at Minnesota, and I know that their strength of schedule has been really, really light, but they've been playing really good basketball. They've won 5 straight. They've covered 4 of their last 5. They don't have a game until Friday at home against Orlando. And offense has been humming, 7-3 to the over last 10 games. We know Denver is not the greatest defensive team. And in the spot for Denver, I don't really like as much. This is his 3rd game in 4 nights. They had the back-to-back games in OKC, 3-7 against the spread in their last 10 games. They did beat OKC in OKC after losing to OKC in OKC. And they got a big nationally televised game coming up on Friday against the Lakers. So don't like the spot as much for the Denver Nuggets here. I look at Minnesota, right? So just the advanced metrics. Number 1 offensive rated team last 5 games. Number 10 in defensive rating last 5 games. Playing at the 9th slowest pace. And they have played the 5th easiest strength of schedule. I think the last game they played with San Antonio, scored like 150 points in that game. But it was an easy game, right? So that didn't have to use that much energy, specifically on the defensive end. Just out there, playing some YMCA pickup basketball against the Spurs that don't got a real center. When I look at Denver, this is the 5th best offense, 6th worst defensive rated team last 5 games. They're playing at the 11th slowest pace, and they have played the most difficult strength of schedule. So Denver, especially when you're playing OKC back-to-back games, right? Like your strength of schedule is going to be a little bit more difficult for sure. But then I start looking at the matchup on, between the two teams, because even though Denver has Denver's in a nice spot as far as, the strength of schedule wise, I don't really like it as much. Minnesota taking they've taken a lot of shots in 2 places so far over their last 5 games, either in the paint, 14th in frequency, 4th in accuracy, or from the 3-point line, 2nd in frequency, 3rd in accuracy are the Minnesota Timberwolves from the 3-point line. Denver has limited rim shots, 6th in opponent rim frequency last 5 games, but they struggled to guard the 3-point line, 25th in opponent rim accuracy. And this is something that's been plaguing them all season. Denver's not a great 3-point defense. On the other side, you look at Denver offensively versus Minnesota defense. Denver has actually shot a lot more threes. If you guys remember back to, if you listen to the show every day, it was somebody in the comments, maybe 2 weeks ago, and I was saying that Denver doesn't shoot a lot of threes. And they were like, Denver shoots a lot of threes. And I went and pulled the numbers up. Denver doesn't shoot a lot of threes. Recently, though, last 5 games, they've taken a lot of threes. So last 5 games, they are 20th in frequency, which doesn't seem like a big jump. But if you compare that to the full season, they actually shoot the fewest threes. So they're 30th on the full season, but 20th last 5 games. And they're shooting it well. Actually, the best 3-point shooting team in the NBA. Number 1 in 3-point accuracy last 5 games. I think they shot 58% from the 3-point line in that game against OKC the other day. But Minnesota, top 10 defense at the 3-point line on the full season, last 5 games, last 10 games. I think Minnesota can take away what Denver wants to do in this game. Then I found some trends. Minnesota, they have been, I guess you could say, about middle of the pack. I want Minnesota as a dog, though. I always say that. I don't really want to lay too many points with them. 5-5 against the spread as a road dog this season. I feel like like when you beat OKC, it takes a lot out of you. So I did look into that. Teams this season after beating OKC, 6-7 straight up, 4-8 against the spread, including 8 straight non-covers. Their next games also go over 10-2 to the over. Makes a lot of sense, right? You just played a fast-paced game against OKC, running up and down the floor, and now you got to play, another team, another good team as well. So I do like that trend to the over. I do like Minnesota here. I like Minnesota a lot. I think Denver coming off back-to-back games. I know that this is, a double revenge spot, but coming off back-to-back games against OKC, third game in 4 nights, I think Minnesota can keep this one close, if not win it outright. Last thing I looked at was Denver as 5-point favorites or less at the crib when they're at home. Only 4-8 against the spread. So these, close possession, like 2 possession games or less, they haven't performed well as short home favorites. So I do like Minnesota plus the 4 here. Haven't bet it yet, but that's something that I'm looking to add to the card today. Brian says Minnesota plus 3.5. Need them to cover. Need them to come through to keep our Lakers neck to neck with Denver. Yeah, Lakers in a tough spot, boy, situationally, man. We got the Bucks tomorrow. Then we play on a second leg of a back-to-back against Denver. You got to beat the Bucks tomorrow because you're probably not beating Denver in Denver on Friday. But then again, it's going to be hard to beat the Bucks tomorrow too. They done lost 3 games in a row. So, yeah. Parlay J says Timberwolves plus the points. No Gordon, the guard, Randall. Murray gets locked up. Caught the Nuggets minus 150 last night. We're looking to ant first quarter points. King Prediction says, Chris, do you think the Wolves can keep up with Denver even though their defense is so bad for Denver? I think so. I think that they should be able to score the basketball. According to my metrics, they should be able to score. Double Down says he likes Randall over his 12.5 rebounds and assists. I couldn't talk you off. He's been facilitating well recently. Could not talk you off. And he likes Jaden McDaniel over his 23.5 points, rebounds, and assists. Both have been smashing their numbers. Like it a lot, Double Down. Best of luck, bro. Adam says, I like the Denver Chicken Nuggets at home with revenge, but we'll see. The revenge kind of like, it's making me stay off of it just a little bit, Adam. But I do think that Minnesota plus the 4. You can get 4s right now. I think Minnesota plus the 4 is the right side. I'm going to grab a 4 too. I won't go too heavy on it, but I think that this comes down from 4 to 3.5. I think it closes 3.5. That's just my thoughts. Lakers have 2 back-to-backs in a week. Yeah, it's terrible, man. And potentially without Bron in both. We'll see. All right. So I do like Minnesota a lot in this game. Next one up, last one on the board that I want to go through is the Knicks and the Portland Trailblazers. And we'll start with the injury report. I actually got my favorite player prop in this game. So we'll go over the outlier in a second. Jalen Brunson, of course, is out for the Knicks. On the Portland Trailblazers side of things, they do have Jeremy Grant listed as doubtful. They have Robert Williams listed as questionable. DeAndre Ayton continues to be out. Matisse Thybulle is actually upgraded to questionable. I don't think he's played basketball in quite a while. And this spread is going up in favor of the Knicks, open 3.5 up to 4. And the total is going up 226 up to 227. I see it 228 as well. So this is the first matchup of the season. The Knicks have won 3 straight. They've covered 2 of the last 3. In the other one, it was actually a push. But we know that the Knicks team is that we have seen against Portland, not the same team. Portland also playing a little bit better. I don't really like the spot as much here for the Knicks. They are only 2-8 against the spread in their last 10 games, 1-4 against the spread in their last 5. 4th of a 5-game road trip. They got a game against Golden State on Saturday coming up, and they played 7 of their last 10 games all on the road. Also 7-3 to the under in their last 10 games. Portland has been profitable at home, 18-13 against the number. They are coming off 4 straight losses. They did cover against Golden State, even though they lost the game by 10. They were getting 12, I think, in that spot. And they're off until Sunday when Toronto comes to town. So Portland got a lot of rest after this game. I think that they will throw the kitchen sink at the New York Knicks. What I do like for the Knicks, though, because situationally it seems like a Portland spot. What I do like for the Knicks, though, is I like OG today. I like OG Anunoby up and over his points prop. I did bet this one right before the show. I still have not sent it out to the members, but I will be on OG Anunoby up and over his points prop today. So real quick, this is Outlier. Link in the description if you want to check it out. 7-day free trial as well. Like you don't even have to sign up. I mean, you can sign up, but you don't have to keep it. So OG, I'm looking at his points specifically in this spot. You can see that he's in really good form. I know it says that he's only over in 5 of his last 10. but he's actually over in 5 of his last 6 with that. This Clipper game, we know the Clippers play super slow versus the Portland team that plays a lot faster than the Clippers. He was also on the second leg of a back-to-back in this game as well in LA, where the Clippers actually do play a little bit of defense. So I'm looking into it, right? OG Anunoby, his usage without Jalen Brunson in the last the last 2 games, in these 2 games, were 23% in this Clipper game, 20% in this game against Sacramento, in the 2 games since Brunson went down. With a 20% usage rate this season, he scored 17 points or more in 16 of his 20 games. That's a nice low hit rate. He's averaging 23.5 points in this spot with a 20% usage rate this season. And then I also looked at the 2 games where Brunson got hurt. I looked at his shot attempts, which you can see if we come down here. You can see he attempted 15 shots or more in both of those games. Well, 15 shots apiece in both of those games. So I looked into if OG gonna get the volume, right? 15 shots or more in 24 games where he's taken 15 shots or more, he's up and over his points prop at 16 and a half in 19 of the 24 games. It's a 79% hit rate this season. If you combine the 15 plus shots and the 20% usage rate, he's played 16 games. He's up and over in 14 of the 16 games this season. He scores about a fourth of his points in transition. Portland is bottom 10 in transition defense on the season as well. So do like OG up and over his 16 and a half points a lot today. This is actually my favorite player prop bet that I've come across so far today. Again, check out Outlier as well. There's a link in the description if you are interested in checking out Outlier. And that's it for this game. I don't really want to play the side or the total. Just not something that I'm looking at in this game specifically. But this was the other one that I wanted to go through. Let's see. Adam says this game is a little tough to call. Like the Knicks on the money line, they seem to be better defensively without Brunson. They also got the Kings on the second leg of a back-to-back. Probably heartbroken after losing to Kawhi on that buzzer beater. King Prediction says, like the Knicks, even though that guy OG can't shoot the 3. TC Bet says he played Josh Hart double-double at plus 110, at plus 100. Couldn't talk you off. Yeah, run it back, Adam. I like it today a lot. 77 figures says, like Portland here. You don't see the motivation for the Knicks here against the pesky Blazers plus 4.5. Yeah, with a game against Golden State, it makes sense. Definitely makes sense. Brian says Portland plus 4.5. They're tough at home with points. Yeah, let's see real quick. Just because you mentioned that, let's look into that real quick. Let's look at the Blazers at home getting 4.5 or more. They are I'm like, hold on, what? All right. Trailblazers. They are 12-9 straight up and 14-7 against the spread. When they're getting 4.5 points or more. They've covered 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 straight games when they're getting 4.5 or more. I know the line consensus is 4 right now. Still, same thing. 14-7 straight up. They've covered 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 straight games. 7 in a row when they're getting 4 points or less. 4 points or more, I'm sorry. 4 points or more this season. Yeah, I couldn't talk y'all off liking the Portland love. Scoot over his assists for Elsie's World. Okay. All right, so let's get into a quick recap before we depart. Charlotte plus the points, man. I do like Charlotte a lot today. Like I said, I just want to make sure LaMelo is actually going to play, and no funny business with the injury report. It looks like it is coming down from 8.5 to 8. I definitely agree with the move. I might have to go ahead and jump on it early because I don't want to get a 7 with Charlotte. But I think it's too many points. Charlotte plus the points, or look towards Charlotte team total up and over. I showed y'all on Moneyballer how opponents are 13-3 to the team total over when they're playing against the Hawks, and the Hawks are our home favorite. OG over his points. Only thing that I've locked in so far. I do like Miami today as well. Money line bet for Miami, and I'm not a big Miami guy. I actually just said that I'm gonna put them on the no bet list, but it's a situational spot today. Miami is minus 135 on DraftKings. I would probably just play Miami money line. Utah plus the points. We talked about that. And Minnesota, I really like it a lot as well. I have not bet Minnesota quite yet, but I think there are still some 4s out there. Yeah, you can still get 4 for Minnesota on a couple different books. So these are the spots that I like, man. I hope that you guys found the show helpful. Resources that I use are all here. Remember, jaXon likes Miami as well. jaXon actually likes Miami minus the 3. And Dante DiVincenzo up and over his 2.5 3-point makes, which is available at minus 148 on FanDuel if you're interested in playing it that, with that much juice, or just trying to, add it as a parlay piece. It makes a lot of sense today. So referral codes and links are in the description for all of the different resources that I use to handicap games. Best of luck on whatever it is that you are betting, man, and enjoy your Wednesday. I will catch you guys all in the next one.